Fort Belvoir. Welcome to Belvoir in the Know, the only podcast created especially for the Fort Belvoir community to help you stay in the know on the go. I'm Command Sergeant Major Greg Kleinholz, the Fort Belvoir Garrison Command Sergeant Major.
I'm Colonel Josh Seagraves, the Garrison Commander. So, Sergeant Major, today we've got 101 critical days of summer on the plate, but also just, general good news going on is it looks like we're starting to continue to move positively out of COVID. So several services opening up across the garrison.
Yes, sir. And I tell you, as the services continue to open up, even on our personal time, safety is a 24/7 deal. Whether we're doing stuff for the Army or we're doing stuff for ourselves, please keep safety in mind throughout now and throughout the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Especially with the hot weather coming on. So June is National Safety Month, and obviously Memorial Day has come and gone. So the weather is changing to heat and humidity. Pools are still scheduled to open once we get everything worked out with the pools, and the countdown really of the critical days of summer has begun. 4th of July is right around the corner, and we're seeing, as we already talked about, that many of the COVID restrictions are being lifted. So everybody's excited to get out, which is great, as long as we can do it safely.
Yes, indeed, sir. Safety is first. Summer can be really fun. However, it is also the Army's deadliest time of the year. More accidents, heat injuries, and pedestrian to vehicle fatalities can happen in the summer more than any other time. And as you stated, staying hydrated is the key. We've had a few back-to-back scorching, hot, humid days. My go-to resource is the WBGT, the wet bulb globe temperature. So here is where you can get this information to monitor and adjust training schedules with cooler temperatures and decreased humidity to prevent heat illness.
Yeah, that's a great resource if you don't know about it. So it's important that everybody is aware of the resources, but also the dangers, because really they can affect anybody regardless of age or physical condition. So without further ado, who do we have on our agenda today, Sergeant Major?
Yes, sir. Today we're going to be hearing from our installation safety officer. Her name is Bridget Pilgrim.
Awesome. So, hey, Bridget, welcome to the podcast. And today we're going to talk about the summer safety campaign that the safety office recently launched. So let's just start by getting to know a little bit about you and just to educate our guests. So first, just share a little known fact about you that you'd like to share with the audience.
First of all, thank you, sir, for having me here. I love the arts and I love science. I continue to play my flute for relaxation, and I'm also a big college football fan.
Nice. So if the podcast listeners can hear the smile in Bridget's voice, she's always happy and she's almost always smiling when she talks, even when she delivers bad news. So yeah, she is in fact smiling right now.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. So, hey, Bridget, how long have you worked in the role as a safety director?
Well, sir, I came into the government as an industrial hygienist. So I worked as a hygienist for about 10 years, and the rest of my time, due to traveling around, the rest of my time was in safety. My husband is retired military, so I lived a number of places. So total government services is 30 plus years.
Wow. Yeah, that's impressive.
Good.
Really impressive. I think that, this is great information and coming at the appropriate time in the year. So today we'll talk about some safety awareness tips, pedestrian safety, pool and water safety. We'll talk about some high-risk summer activities, and then discuss the significance of the 101 critical days of summer and what we can do as a community to help change sort of any outcomes, specifically any tragedies or accidents. And the Army Safety website reported, just as a note here, a couple of statistics from fiscal year 16 to 20, the Army lost an average of 86 soldiers each year due to off-duty accidents. That's over 3 times the number of soldiers lost to on-duty accidents, and obviously that's devastating to our Army and those families. Our current predictions are that if we continue to take unacceptable risks in our off-duty activities, that we could lose another 84 soldiers from our formations by the end of 21. So obviously that's unacceptable, and most of the time those are preventable. So Bridget, can you just tell us, in your experience, what kinds of accidents happen, and why do you think those accidents happen, and how do you think they can be avoided?
I think complacency kicks in a lot of the times. We become so eager to, for example, it's summertime, to get out and, as they say, do the fun in the sun thing. And we stop thinking about how to do those activities and events. For example, sir, in 2020, there were 24 personnel killed while walking too near the road. 3 were intoxicated. 21 could have been totally avoided if they had just paid attention and thought about the location as to where they were walking. A lot of the accidents are avoidable.
Yeah, absolutely. They absolutely are, especially those. And I think you bring up a really salient point. So, obviously we've been in the pandemic. And so I think that this year as leaders, but just also as individuals, we got to be careful, not only on duty, but off duty with our families, because there's what seems like an increased sense of urgency coming out of the pandemic, where people want to get out and do like all the things they missed out on over the last, 14, 15 months. Thinking about the pandemic, during the pandemic, did we see, or did you see an increase or a decrease in accidents?
There's some documentation, for example, with cyclists, there was an increase in accidents during the COVID. As you know, cyclists get out and they go riding in a number of places on the major roads sometime. Cyclists probably were thinking that there wasn't a lot of cars out on the road, decrease in motorists. Well, statistics also showed that because there was a decrease in motorists on the highway, there was an increase in speeding. And unfortunately, there were more than 1/4 of bike fatalities were hit and run. We, during the pandemic, got a little complacent.
Yeah, I think you're right. Absolutely. Can you take a moment to explain the significance of the 101 critical days of summer and how that came about?
Well, from Memorial Day to Labor Day, there's an increase in activity and risk taking. Those days is approximately 100 days between the two holidays. So with that, it was decided 101 critical days of summer safety campaign needed to be established. And it was established to provide that critical information, to raise awareness and to mitigate the risks during this time of the season.
Okay, yeah, that makes complete sense. I think it's a pretty simple concept, but an important one. I think it's like many things that we do. It's important to be open to the conversation, and it's a willingness to have a discussion about safety, not just for the summer, but it's a persistent look at risk and how we assess risk, both as individuals, but also as members of the military. Can you talk a little bit about what kind of information we can expect to see or topics covered?
As you know, safety is a wide range of activities and topics that can be covered, because almost everything we do, we need to involve safety in those activities and events. A few of the topics that we will cover: boating safety, pool safety, pedestrian safety, bicycle safety, motorcycle safety, barbecue safety, walking and jogging safety, and your vehicle trip preparations as well. So we also plan to do a virtual messaging. It's unfortunate that we now see an increase in gun shootings. So we have already spoken with Chief Jackson, and he's quite eager to give us information on gun safety. So I think that's an extremely important safety message to get out during this time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So you hit on a couple of things, firearm safety is really, I mean, they're all important, but that one's particularly important just, as you watch the news or hear about events, that one's always critical, and education is an important part of that. As I start to think through that, you want to just talk about quickly virtual activities or events that we have planned, and then how can we help support as a community?
The virtual topics, we're going to have Chief Jackson to come on board and speak on firearm safety. We're in the talks with the Coast Guard Auxiliary to the subject matter expert to come on board and give us classes to speak on water safety. They usually give classes to cover the rules and requirements when boating in Maryland and Virginia and in DC. So thus far, those are the two virtual topics that we plan to cover. The community can assist by getting the word out. And as you know, neighbors talk. And so they can help us by getting the word out that these topics are found on the Fort Belvoir website and the Fort Belvoir Facebook page. They can also assist by thinking of safety in their everyday planning and their events that they're planning. Also, the community can report unsafe situations. For example, if you see a downed tree, you can contact our office. We will know who to contact to get you to help. If there's a huge sinkhole in the road, to prevent someone from stumbling into that, you can contact us. And something as simple as obstructing a view into oncoming traffic, that we actually received a call in reference to that, and it was a traffic safety hazard. You can contact our office. These are some things that you can do as a community to assist us.
Yeah, Miss Bridget, man, that's a great rundown, because it's both on and off duty activity where we find ourselves having to apply these safety measures. And, just like now, the number of heat fatalities is alarming, but it can be avoided, right? And so during these hot days, before planning any PT or any outside activities, we can either rely on the WBGT or look at the different weather apps that we have as measurement tools. Can you share with us the importance of planning for hot temperature days?
Yes, Sergeant Major. The WBGT, or the wet bulb globe temperature, is a way to measure your heat stress on your body. And that entails having the temperature, the humidity, the wind speed, even the angle of the sun and the cloud. And this tool is important to determine the time and the rest period during your activities. Those activities could be the outdoor workers, your gardeners, your landscapers, exercising, PT, as you stated, Sergeant Major, your play activities, walking, jogging, and all of this is to prevent heat cramps, heat stroke, heat exhaustion, sunburn. All of those items are important. And they can be found but first, let me go back. That temperature is checked by the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital Environmental Health Section. And they record those readings and post them on the site every hour. So they're doing a fantastic job of really providing that information for everyone as a preventive measure. It can be found on the Fort Belvoir website, and you click on it and the safety website will come up. And once you click on that, you scroll down and you will see that information that will help you make those decisions.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, so also you spoke really well about all those activities and the increase in cyclists out there. And many people automatically think about motorcycle training program when it comes to the installation safety office. What are the most popular or most requested services and programs you have?
One of the most is the motorcycle safety program, as you stated. And that is because the active duty soldiers are required to take that course if they are riding a motorcycle. And we have a dedicated facility just for that. Also, we train all the military personnel, active duty military within the Northern Capital Region here. So we are quite busy. We help coordinate those classes with military personnel, and that includes the sport bike, and that is Monday through Friday. We have those classes, so it is very, very busy. Our second most requested safety event services is it's with the partners. When there is a long holiday approaching, we usually get calls and requests to provide a safety briefing to some of their personnel before that holiday. So those are the two most requested services that we receive.
No, that's really good. So, thanks for providing that service for them.
Yeah, it's a great facility over there, Bridget. That's a really nice area. And I think the last time we ran that was sometime in the fall when I saw it, August or September. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, really, really well done, really professional facility, and a great, just a great area to run that course. So before we close out, can you tell us how we as a community can be part of the solution as we continue through the 101 critical days of summer?
Just continue to be vigilant, and anything that you see or question, anything that you see that you're not sure of, or anything that you see where someone is going to get hurt eventually, you can contact our office. And please continue to plan your activities to include safety. I know right now we're all excited since restrictions have, the pandemic restrictions have decreased a bit, and we want to just get out there and travel and do a lot of activities, but that's when accidents occur. I ask that the community continue to be vigilant and go to the website. You can go to the safety website, the Fort Belvoir safety website, and there's also the USART, the Safety Center website. They have a wealth of information on both those websites. Or if there's something on there that you have questions about that's not covered in either one of those either one of those websites, you can always contact our office.
Great. Those are all great resources. So Bridget, thanks for joining us today. I think we've sort of come to the end of another podcast. We greatly appreciate your time and greatly appreciate our listeners. Sergeant Major, any final thoughts?
Yes, sir. I think Bridget did really well. And, something that I'll take away is planning out my activities, whether, out on the golf course, needing all that sunscreen and protecting your skin on those hot days, or boater safety, making sure you go prepared with the right items and enough, water to drink, or if you're doing some activity around the house, which is labor intensive, plan those breaks out, drink that water, and make sure you take care of yourself so we can see you again tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All great thoughts, Sergeant Major. Thank you. So for all our listeners, just a couple of final tips. Don't forget to download the Army's digital garrison app and make Fort Belvoir your installation of choice. Connect with us on our website and Facebook page for all things Belvoir. I encourage you, if you haven't already, to take the COVID vaccine. If you have questions about the vaccine or concerns, please go to the Fort Belvoir Community Hospital website, where you'll find additional information and educational materials. Continue to wash your hands, wear a mask where appropriate, and use physical distance where it's needed. Just continue to be safe. Thanks for joining us. And from me to you, now you know.